Hi guys, it's PS. On the first two videos, we scrutinized Chovy's habits, and pro teams analyze and look for counterplays of players' habits. Just like a Rookie of the Year goes through a sophomore slump due to his exposed weaknesses that he wasn't aware of, pro league teams analyze players' habits. Honestly, every team values the Kespas Cup differently, and some teams have better teamwork, so this tournament cannot solely determine their performance. Although, it's fun to analyze the games. Today, we'll analyze the game Afreeca vs Dragon X, as well as how Afreeca countered Chovy's habits and snowballed the game. Before you watch, for those of you who did not watch the first two videos, let's recall Chovy's habits. First, Chovy likes to push first and get side visions instead of freezing the lane. And second, he usually recalls on two situations. Recall when the second wave is passing around the inhibitor turret, or push the second wave to the turret and recall. And if he has a mid priority in very early game, he prefers to push and ward at the Raptors or Red. We refer to the second video of the pros habits, the Nocturne game. This was a short crash course, and if it doesn't make any sense, please watch the second video of pros habits. It will add more fun to watching the tournament. We'll mostly explain the game as we watch the minimap since it's difficult to see every lane. In mid, it is Ryze vs Vel'Koz. Afreeca use Band Phase strategically to pick a better lane matchup during Champion Select stage, like Echo against Syndra or Hecarim against Aatrox. In this game as well, they picked Vel'Koz against Ryze. Ryze is the second mostly picked mid champion in this Kespas Cup. He was picked 9 times as a mid. For top, he was picked 5 times. So while Qiyana, Orianna, Irelia, Lucian, and Akali were banned, Dragon X could have picked Syndra, Ryze, Rumble, or a Joker pick like Ornn mid, but they chose Ryze for a possible top and mid swap and an advantage in macro. After Ryze pick, they have ordinary picks. First tier AD carry Varus since Miss Fortune was banned, Xayah and Rakan, Renekton and Elise, Jelly's favorite pick Braum, Mordekaiser to go even against Keane, and J4 to match Elise, which seemed to be an ordinary champion select phase. But the Vel'Koz pick added some spices. Vel'Koz has a very long range, and she has a better matchup against Ryze in solo ranked in Platinum, Diamond, and even in Masters. This means that mid shouldn't have an incident. So Vel'Koz took a cleanse since the enemy's mid jungle wombo combo is life threatening. Let's dive into in-game. The first snowball starts here at 1 minute. Without enemy knowing, Braum wards behind the Dragon Pit, and J4 is spotted while wandering around. Afreeca realizes that J4 is starting solo red as they see bot lanes check on Elise at the blue. Dragon X checks where Elise starts and even puts down a ward at the Gromp. But Elise doesn't mind it and goes for a full camp. And here, Fly's movement is significant. At 155, he wards in front of his Raptors. This ward is very meaningful for several reasons. Since J4 started red, he can get topside vision and position in topside to avoid a gank from below. He can check where Chovy wards since Chovy has a habit of getting a side vision after pushing the second wave. We mentioned this on the previous video. And since Dragon X knows that Elise started blue and going for a full camp, this ward helps Elise prevent from J4 pressuring her red. Dragon X actually knows that it's warded. They even ping for the ward. But Chovy doesn't really care much and puts down a ward at red after pushing the second wave. He can do this since he pushed first and knows where Elise is at. Elise is detected by the ward, which makes Dragon X easy to play. But Spirit knew Chovy's habit and he used the blind spot of this ward sharply. First, Afreeca was 100% sure that Dragon X did not have a vision on the top side of mid, since Chovy used a ward at red. There are other factors to guarantee this. 1. Brahm's early ward detected that J4 started an Oracle lens. 2. Ryze just used a ward at red. And 3. Even though Mordekaiser warded earlier, it is gone since the early trinket lasts only 90 seconds. And Spirit tries to gank after clearing 4 camps, since Chovy likes to fast push the first wave and recall around 3:15. He is pinging and going around. Trusting ward and Chovy's habit made a loophole. There is still one thing to consider. If J4 was around the area after 4 camps. Before J4, he would waste so much time to sit in the top side of mid bush to counter gank, and there is still plenty of time until 3:15 for the scuttler. Even if he faced Elise, he would have backed off since Elise has a better sustainability in jungling. Anyway, Elise goes around J4's side and forces Chovy to flash. Ryze wanted to push the wave and recall, but his plan is screwed. And with a phenomenal game sense, Gin comes all the way down to ward the bush to prevent J4's camping while Elise goes back to the red. Then for J4, his mid and top have no priority and no vision, so he chooses to take bot side scuttler and clear the rest of bot side camps. Next recall timing will be either second wave is in the middle, or after pushing the second wave to the turret. However, with lane priority, Fly gets to push the second wave and recall first. Fly is pushing and recalling first, which Chovy likes to do, and Fly holds his lane priority. Ryze has no choice but recall after farming the rest of the minions. To break this chain, Ryze has to use teleport to ruin the recall timing. But having a teleport in a pro game gives a great macro advantage, so he doesn't use it. And because of the push priority, Fly uses a Scryer's Plum to get vision advantage. At this point, Doran makes a mistake. Even though he saw Elise, he fails to keep distance, and as a result, he wastes both of his summoner spells. Since top has no priority and no spells, Chovy gets nervous. However, Vel'Koz is playing safe with a cleanse. He is also positioning on the top side since he cleared topside vision and Elise is on the side. So even though Chovy likes to push the second wave and get a side vision, he pushes the first wave and gets a vision on enemy's blue side jungle while Elise is not around. But Fly realizes that Ryze used his control ward, and he does standard second wave clear and heads down to control the boss side vision. Meanwhile, we should check J4's movement. Since he was forced to clear his red side camp earlier, he naturally moves to topside jungle to clear the camp. This is the most efficient route. Clear the topside jungle, and look for a top or mid gank before recall. It wasn't critical though, but just a little help to Doran. At the same time, Chovy can't get the lane priority for a number of reasons. He used all of his wards on enemy's blue side jungle, but even those wards are destroyed and lost vision control in the bot side river. He has no flash, has no push priority, and J4 can't get enough visions with Oracle Lens. And even bot, who had priority earlier, pulls the lane since mid has no priority and jungle is on the top side. And if bot can't push the wave, they have to give up the dragon. Even though early dragon doesn't mean much, you don't want to give it for free. Since all lanes have no priority, Chovy pushes the first wave and TPs to mid to get the lane priority forcefully. He thought he could cover his TP with his ult and keep the priority. And this decided the game. By coincidence, Gin recalls after lane management while Ryze is TPing mid, and Gin teleports to bot since both Mordekaiser and Ryze don't have TP. This forces a 4v2 fight. Indeed, Afreeca Freaks already planned this as soon as Ryze used the teleport, and Elise is running to bot right now. They get a huge success by killing both bot laners, and Gin doesn't lose much minions at top since he recalled while the second wave is on the way. We'll come up with a top lane management video later. And this was why, although Keen roamed, he had more CS than Mordekaiser. We'll stop watching here. The game was more fun to watch after watching Pro's habits. And this game reminds me of Gein's interview. No doubt that Gein showed the best performance in the Kespas Cup, but as he mentioned, he could play even better since his team made better situations for him. Thank you for watching, and we hope you enjoyed.